Hello, everyone. Today we have a special guest, Sabrina, from London, UK, and she is the brilliant leader shaping the future of space sustainability and ESG advisory. Sabrina, thank you very much for joining this, and she also, Luxembourg. She is also serving in Luxembourg, and she is London original, and she is the UK national. And she is actually, it's interesting that her parents are also born in UK, but her grandparents are from Pakistan. So that's nice to see you, Sabrina, in that context as well. So thank you very much, Sabrina, for joining this session, and for your and Sabrina also has the master from University of London as well. So, Sabrina, can you please begin by sharing your study and career journey from theoretical physics at Queensberry to NASA, ESA, and now in KPMG?
Yeah, sure. No, thank you so much for having me. As mentioned, born and raised in London. My family origins are from Pakistan. And I grew up really enjoying science and maths. So when I went to university, I studied theoretical physics and enjoyed learning about the stars, the planets, how the universe works. And I was fortunate enough then to get a scholarship by the UK Space Agency and the European Space Agency to study my first master's in France at the International Space University. From there, I had the honor of going to NASA. So I was then moved over to the US for a time, really focused on physics projects, and then wanted to move back to Europe. So then moved to Germany and Cologne, and then worked at the European Space Agency, where again, it was very much a physics type project. From there, I wanted to work in the space industry, more on the engineering and the strategy side. So I moved to Luxembourg, very small country in Europe, and I went to work for the biggest satellite operator in the world called SES. So moved there, did engineering. Wanted to study more business, more strategy. So I got my MBA from the University of London, and then went into strategy and corporate finance, and then specialized in sustainability. So looking at how can we use space to make the world better, to help people all over the world, but also how can we limit the amount of damage we do to our environment. So because of that, I started working closely with the Chamber of Commerce, the European government, and then ended up moving into consulting. And that's what I do now. So I work at KPMG. I'm a director. I look after space, defense, and I work on sustainability related projects.
Very nice, very nice. That's good. And yeah, Sabrina, what first inspired you to work in the space sector, especially at the intersection of sustainability and policy?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I have to say, so when I was young, then it goes back. So my parents got divorced when I was very, very young, which meant that my family, so my grandparents and my uncle, who was studying aeronautical engineering at the time, had to look after me and my sister a lot. So whilst he was studying, he would show me science experiments or he would introduce me to what he was learning. So I was 4 years old. He was talking about planets and the stars. And I remember at the age of 4, 5 saying, this is what I want to do with my life. And all throughout school, I knew I wanted to do space. I knew I had to work in space. It was difficult at school because sometimes the teachers don't always believe in you. And I didn't go to, I mean, I'm from a small area in East London, and so it's not normal that, young females and especially of Pakistani origin will move out of London and go work in the space industry. But I was really lucky. I had my family and good friends to support me. And that's really what drove me to doing what I do. And with the sustainability aspect, that was something I was just always passionate about. And I remember, even though I love space and science, I always said to myself, I wish I can use that to do good for the world. And I was lucky that when I moved over to SES, I had the opportunity to bring the two together and still do this today.
Very nice, Sabrina. Very nice and very inspiring. So, how does your role as a Europe space lead at this KPMG influence space governance and ESG in transformation?
Yeah, so I would say in many different aspects. So, because I work in the consulting side now, I'm quite fortunate to be able to work with all types of companies and governments, understand the wide picture of space, and understand what it means for the people, what it means on the sustainability side in space as well. So when we look at satellites, um, so there's a few different ways in which we work, and I absolutely love it because it means working with stakeholders or people from all over Europe, from all over the world. Learning a lot of new things every day. I'm still learning, and that's probably the best part of the job. And then I'm able to help companies, help governments make strategic decisions based on the work that I do and the projects that we do.
Very nice to have the impact in the world. That's really nice, Sabrina. And my next question is tell us more about your work with the SES satellites and space sustainability. What does it truly involve, and what is this? Something like that.
Yeah, sure. So, space sustainability, I'll explain it in a different way. So, what we've done on Earth when we talk about pollution, when we talk about, using something and then throwing it and you don't know where it's going to end up, we basically have done the exact same thing, but in space. So outside of Earth, we have orbits. And every time we use our phone, every time we watch TV, it's all based on satellites that are in orbit that give us connectivity, that give us broadband, and so on. The more and more companies that launch satellites, so you use your rocket to launch the satellite goes up into space, the satellite orbits the planet, and it gives us data, basically. The more we fill up the orbits, the more congested, meaning the busier it gets. If it gets too busy, it becomes very difficult to put new satellites in place. And what it does is it creates a very dangerous situation. Imagine, something traveling so fast, and if you have them too close together, it can cause or leads to something called collisions, where if they crash, they break up into small pieces. And we call this the Kessler effect. And what that means is that if one small piece hits another even big piece, that could break up into lots of small pieces. So what you create is a very dangerous environment where everything is so congested, everything's so busy that if one thing breaks, it could create a knock-on effect and cause everything to break. And that means potentially pieces falling back to Earth, which is really dangerous for people, for the planet. It means losing the services that we have from the space environment. So again, the phone, the TV, all of these basic things, your Google Maps and so on. And essentially, that's what we talk about space sustainability. How do we reduce that problem? How can we solve this problem? Um, and so the work I was doing at SES was looking at this problem, looking at how we can redesign our satellites or be careful with our satellites to stop the effect or to limit the effect of this when we put it into space. On the other side, I did something called ESG, which stands for Environmental Social Governance. And it was on two sides. So, one, we looked at everything from the environment side. How can SES, as a satellite space player, make the planet a better place to live on? How can we reduce the environmental impact, our emissions, for example? How can we help people in remote areas? How can we give them connectivity? And we launched numerous programs on that. And then also, how do we abide by regulations? So, on the legal and regulatory side as well. So, my role was looking after all of these different programs and making sure that we were succeeding and that there was more and more impact every day that we were working.
Very nice, Sabrina. It's a very commendable work you are doing, and you gave us this insight and this other aspect. Mostly people don't know about this, and really, it's impactful work you are doing. Thank you very much for this. And how does one transition from space science to strategic consulting and leadership?
Yeah, no, on it. So I think it's all about who and what you like. When I was going through my journey was not a straight line. I never said, when I was young, I knew I wanted to do science and physics, but I didn't know, where do I want to be in 30 years' time and know the exact job. And I think it's important that you take every opportunity that you get and you create your opportunities. You go to the right, whether it's a conference or you apply for the right scholarships. You meet with people, you talk to people, you understand what are the different options out there. So when I moved over, it was because I studied. So I was lucky enough to be able to study and understand a lot more. Getting the MBA also helped me understand not just the technical side, but the strategy, the business side of things as well. But at the same time, I think it's people. I would, when I was at university speaking to different types of professors, well, I was lucky that my family worked in different types of businesses and different types of roles. So I would speak to them, understand what are they doing? And then I would try different things. When I was at university, I did an internship every single year. The first internship I did was in a corporate environment in central London. And I learned so much about how businesses run. What are the objectives of a business? How do you make money? Simple things like this. And then there were things I liked, there were things I didn't like. So next year I did another internship, and I actually did a physics teaching internship. And again, there were things I liked, I didn't like. And then the next year I did a project management internship for the government. And I think it's really about trying different things, understanding what do you like, what do you not like, speaking and being with the right people at the right place, being proactive as well. I always had this mentality of, okay, it might be scary, but I'm still going to try. And what do I have to lose? And if the answer is you don't have to lose much, then you go for it, and so that helped me understand and be in the right place at the right time and explore the different options. And that's how I really moved over into the more strategy type of role. And yeah, I've really enjoyed it since.
Very nice, very inspiring, and it's really true leadership qualities you are mentioning, and definitely it's inspiring for all of us, and especially the women section, or the, you can say, the females, because you are the females, and you can lead better. Very good. And Sabrina, what key skills do young professionals need today for career in space or even defense or ESG, something like that?
Yeah, I think I like to focus not so much on like the technical skills because I think you can go into space, defense, sustainability with whatever background you want to do. If something is interesting to you, go and do it. And you can always do it in space and defense, whether it's marketing, communications, whether it's engineering, whether it's, procurement, whatever it might be. So that's one thing. Don't limit yourself because you think the industry only wants a certain technical skill. That's not true. The industry needs everyone. But in terms of kind of other skills, I think again, it's about being proactive. It's about bringing in qualities where you're able to interact with different people, where you're able to also take a look at the wider picture, but also the technical details as well. So being able to have two different points of view. And also passion. Passion is so important. You know, the industry is growing. The work that we do, it's not always easy, but if you have a passion and you can combine it with, I would say communication type skills as well, with whatever technical background you have, you can really achieve lots of different things. And, network with the right people and be in the right places, or at least find out where should you be, what should you be doing, what's the right direction too. So I really enjoy doing like mentoring people because I think it's so important. I never really had anyone who worked in the industry growing up. And so for me, it was about navigating a lot of that and trying and so on. And so I think it's important that all the skills you gain throughout all your experiences you use later. I mean, I used to work in a retail shop and I was on the tills scanning the items for the customers. You know, I was 16 when I started doing this. And okay, but actually, it taught me so much. It taught me how to interact with different people, people from all backgrounds, different ages as well. It taught me what hierarchy is and management and so on. And so, everything you do, every experience that you have in your life, I think that's what you need to appreciate and take forward in everything you do in order to actually get to the place you want to get to. And that's how I got involved in space, defense, and sustainability. And so I think that's my one advice. Don't limit yourself and also use everything in your kind of, I say arsenal, but everything that you have as a person, use that to push yourself forward.
Very nice, Sabrina. It's really inspiring and really motivated, and your motivation really have the impact. Your voice is very motivated, and you can see it's really inspiring. I'm feeling something like that, and really inspiration for the ladies, females as well. Yes. And Sabrina, one thing, could you elaborate on your work with the UNOOSA Space for Women and also other mentoring roles?
Yeah, sure, exactly. So the UN has an outer space office, so fully focused on all space affairs. And then a few years ago, again, I applied to be a mentor. So throughout all the different experiences at NASA, ESA, SES, and so on, I said, okay, let me try. I believe I can help other young women get involved in the industry. So I did. I was selected as a mentor. I also went to the expert meeting. So I was one of the experts a few years ago in South Korea. And we put together kind of a nice strategy for how the UN can look at space for women. So I did those things. Again, really quite tight-knit group, and we get along well. I had different mentees over the years who are all fantastic. Absolutely loved it and who are doing so well today. And it's really inspiring for me to see that. With the other groups, I also did work with Women in Aerospace Europe. So, again, looking at across the European frame, how do we get not just young females, but minorities, people of different ethnic backgrounds, people of different abilities, and so on, to feel safe in the industry and to work their way in. And then I'm also a lecturer at different universities, and I think that helps because I think when people see people who look like them or people who are different speaking and teaching and in a leadership role, it inspires them to do the same thing. So I make sure that there is a level of visibility as well, and that I always am approachable for different people, anyone who wants to talk, always happy to do so. And then, yeah, taking the opportunities to mentor where I can.
Very nice, very nice. Sabrina want to make this earth livable for everyone. Very nice, Sabrina. That's where the environment is that everyone is just the environment. You are making positive impact, and that's very nice. You also have worked on across UK, NASA, ESA, and Luxembourg. How important is this global exposure? You mentioned some aspects, but if you want to highlight more.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's been a life-changing experience. I wouldn't be the person I am if I didn't travel, if I didn't live in different places. And so I always think it's so important that if you have the opportunity to do it, then do it. But I also think it's important to recognize that sometimes we don't have the means to do all these different things as well. So don't limit yourself on that. Find up like again, I only left London because I got a scholarship. I had to apply for the scholarship and so on. So there are ways, but I think it's so important to learn different people, to learn, what's important for people of this background. And I think it makes you a person who can work more effectively because you're able to look at the world from different perspectives. You're able to think about problems at a bigger scale as well, not just from your narrow perspective. And so I think, again, if anyone ever has the opportunity to explore, to do that, and so on, I would recommend it. And I remember when I was at university or before I got to university, I wanted to actually move either to the US to study or, somewhere further away from my home. And at the age of 18, I decided, okay, I'll go to a university that's actually just around the corner from my house. So I stayed home and all my friends left. And I remember being so jealous and so not disappointed, but I always thought I would be like the one moving out. And actually, it was the best thing that ever happened to me because one, I love my family. I got to be around them a lot. But two, it gave me the opportunity to earn money, to figure out what I want in a stable home, as well, to then the next step, move out. And then the next time I moved, or when I actually moved out for the first time, I moved country, and then kept moving country from there. And then met my husband in Germany, and now we live in Luxembourg. So I think that if you want to do something, do it, find a way to do it, but also take advantage of leaving, of moving out, even if it's a 1 week experience, do it. And don't be afraid. It is scary though. Every time I moved, it was so scary. I remember calling my mom. There would be times I would cry. There would be times I was, scared to meet new people, but that's all part of growing as a person. And again, that makes you who you are today. And so, yeah, I just want to put that out there. It's not just easy. And anything worth doing is never easy, but once you do it, you see the benefits, whether it's tomorrow or in years to come.
Very nice, Sabrina. The today's Sabrina is different from the past Sabrina, and today's Sabrina is more groomed and you can say much transformed. Yeah, very nice. And really leadership qualities you have, and that's really inspiring to make this world livable. Sabrina, what role do women leaders play in reshaping sustainability and aerospace industries?
Oh my gosh, women are, you know what, women are absolutely incredible. And I think that it's so important that we don't feel, or so important that we don't let our fear get in the way of what we want to do. As a woman, you're usually the minority when you go into a room, especially in the industry. of space. And I think it's important that even though you walk into a room and you think, oh my gosh, no one looks like me, or oh my gosh, should I be here? That you push through that and you realize you should be there. You're there for a reason. You bring your own perspective, and you're only going to make the industry a better place because of it. And sustainability always means bringing in those new perspectives to look at things differently. And I think women have the opportunity to do that so much. And I'm about to be a mum. So in a few weeks, actually, I'm about to be a mum. And I have to say that the superpower that women have, it's incredible. And I think that we just are such amazing, humans. And it's so important that we bring that to the work we do. And I remember finding out I'm about to have a baby, and using that to empower me, and actually not feeling scared of, oh my gosh, I'm a woman, so on, but actually using that to make sure that again, the world's a better place. We have the opportunity to inspire other people. We bring so much to the table, and recognizing that, and also finding amazing women as well, and finding allies. So, what I mean by that is making sure that you find the right people to help you grow. Every time I went to a new university or I did a new experience, it was because either there was an amazing professor, a man or woman, who helped me, who believed in me and pushed me forward. And it's important that we recognize those people and we leverage those people. And then we become the best leaders that we can. And again, not being scared about who we are, but bringing who we are to the table, even if it's different, even if it's difficult, but pushing through, because at the end, everyone sees how important that is, and you only make things better, and not just for you, but for the next generations going forward.
Very nice, Sabrina. Very nice, and wish you good luck for your new role
Thank
as a
you.
mom as well. And the final words, Sabrina, what advice do you have for students, especially women, dreaming of global STEM careers, something like that?
My advice is one, find someone or something that you can talk, or somewhere, some way, somehow, whether it's online or so on, to talk to help guide you, to help make you feel included. I think that's really important because, when I grew up, I had my mum who helped push me. I had my university professors, and I had people at work, and then I have my husband now. And so it's always, and the reason I say that is because we doubt ourselves a lot. And it's so important that you're able to get past the doubt and have that self-belief. And self-belief comes from recognizing also how lucky you are to have different people around you, or whatever opportunity there is. So those those things, find a mentor basically. Um, and then the other thing is, I would say, again, don't fear about what you study. There is always a place for you in the industry. There is always a place for you in this world. Do what you like, do what you're good at, believe in it, put your effort into it, and go forward with that. And do it with a smiling face. My granddad always said to me, growing up, and this stuck with me forever, he said, even if you you're doing something you might not like, put a smile on your face and do it with 100% conviction. And that helped me enjoy the things maybe I don't like, or appreciate them. And again, that helps you move forward. And so the next experience you have will be better and will be different. And life is just about growing in small incremental steps. And then you see at the end of the day, actually, there's a reason behind those things. So, yeah, I would say that that's kind of my advice. Smile on your face, find the right people, appreciate the people around you, um, and enjoy what you do, and do it well, do it with drive, determination, and believe that you can do anything if you really want to. So yeah.
Very nice, Sabrina. Sabrina wants everyone to do their work as a deliberate play over deliberate practice. And also, Sabrina is the icon of hope for everyone. So, thank you very much, Sabrina. Really deep, insightful conversation you have with me, and definitely the audience will get many benefits from your multiple aspects, and you can say the multiple advices you have given in this session. It's rare to see someone blend technical excellence with strategic leadership so powerfully. So it's really nice. Your story is the beacon for youth, women, and all aspiring change makers in science, even sustainability, and space. So thank you very much, Sabrina, for your time, for your motivation, and for your passion to make this world really livable for everyone, rather than to and also fighting for those who are just spread hate and also destructions, which we are seeing ongoing. So thank you very much, Sabrina, and have a blessed time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.